Welcome back to Conscious Ground Sound, your source for the best music, both past and present. Jay Ando here with a review of Adrian Younge's Something About April 2, released January 22nd, 2016. Something About April 2 is a sequel or follow-up album to the 2011 Something About April, which is an album about relationships or a retrospective of an interracial love story to a film that is yet to be made, as the album cover depicts a young interracial couple. Something About April 2 returns with cinematic character and retrospective thematic material that explores death, war, love, spirituality, escapism, duality, and the sheer brilliance of Adrian Younge's newfangled soul-funk classic. Younge blends the stylings of Ennio Morricone, Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Shuggie Otis, and comes through with a style and production that is distinctly his own. There's a psychedelic feel that permeates the entire album, and Younge incorporates all of the vintage instrumentation that goes with the 1960s to 1970s soul sound. There is also a Baroque element in the musical arrangement and instrumentation which makes for some melodically sophisticated yet funky music. Adrian Younge is a self-taught multi-instrumentalist that incorporates Hammond organ, Fender Rhodes, Wurlitzer, strings, funky bass lines, electric sitar, breakbeats, vibraphone, flutes, lap steel guitar, acoustic piano, vocal harmony, saxophones, monophonic synthesizer, glockenspiel, harpsichord, mandolin, trumpet, French horn, clarinet, phaser guitar, whatever that is, timpani, and a rare synthesizer called a Celine that cannot be purchased anymore, which sounds like the Mellotron the Beatles used on Strawberry Fields. If this instrumentation list is not enticing enough, let's take a closer look at the artist. Adrian Younge has been on the music scene for a while and has recorded with and produced some big names and diverse talents. He actually released his first EP with the album Venice Dawn in 2000, which is an instrumental soundtrack. In 2009, he produced the soundtrack to the blaxploitation film Black Dynamite. Younge then released Something About April 1 in 2012, along with Black Soul Mix. He recorded an album with the Delphonics in 2013, then recorded a hip-hop album with Ghostface Killah, 12 Reasons to Die, in 2013, which was sampled twice by Timbaland on Jay-Z's album Magna Carta Holy Grail that same year. He made an album with the Souls of Mischief called There Is Only Now in 2014. He then released the sequel to 12 Reasons to Die with Ghostface Killah in 2015 and worked with Bilal on In Another Life in 2015. Adrian Younge returns in 2016 with Something About April and forms a heavy collaboration with Laetitia Sadier of Stereolab, who wrote 2 songs on the album, Step Beyond and Memories of War, and who also co-wrote Ready to Love with Lauren Oden, La Ballade with Bilal, and Hands of God with Carolina. The singer Carolina also wrote the songs Winter Is Here and Hear My Love. Lauren Oden co-wrote 3 songs on the album and 2 with Adrian Younge, including Sitting by the Radio and Sandrine. Adrian Younge himself only wrote 4 songs on the album: Sea Motet, Psalms, Magic Music, and April Sonata. Younge also co-wrote 2 songs with the aforementioned Lauren Oden. The thing that makes this distinctively an Adrian Younge album, not a Laetitia Sadier, Bilal, Lauren Oden, and Carolina collaboration album, is that Younge plays the lion's share of the instruments from top to bottom on each track, and he offers his unique stylings and arrangements. It's clear that Adrian Younge has a talent for collaborating and is able to sculpt from these collaborations a masterfully played and produced album. It's not clear, however, whether or not he's being extremely generous with song credits, since he may have written the musical accompaniment to the aforementioned vocalists and musicians that he credits on the album. Adrian Younge also features an entirely instrumental release of Something About April 2, which is a nice complementary album that lends itself to being sampled by those in the hip-hop world who are ready to spread some Baroque psychedelic funk flavor in the coming year. The album cover art itself is another story. When asked about the message he was trying to convey with the cover art for his new album, this is what Younge had to say. There are a lot of points. One is, these are the kind of covers that has people going, I feel like this could have came out of the 60s or the 70s. I want the cover to hit them like that. And then I want the people to understand you never really saw black people and white people on the cover at that time. A lot of black albums released during that era had white people on the covers in order to cross over. Record labels weren't allowing their black artists to be on the cover. So when you have a naked black chick and a naked white chick that looks like a cover from the 60s and 70s, it's making a political statement. It's saying that we're at the time now where this should be acceptable. That's the main reason I wanted that. There are so many incredible songs and musical moments on Something About April Part 2. It would be tiring to do a track-by-track breakdown, but I will give you some highlights. Let me start by saying I do not skip any songs in this album, but there are those that I go back to for seconds and thirds. The first song I like to highlight is Sandrine, which has this amazing soulful vocal melody and performance by Lauren Oden. The other astounding thing about this soulful love ballad is that Adrian Younge plays all the instruments on the track, except the strings that are played by Hannah Blumenfeld. And this song will be stuck in your head all day after listening because the melody is that good. The next highlight is Step Beyond, which is a Laetitia Sedier track, which is definitely reminiscent of a Stereolab song. The track starts with a sweet drum break from none other than John Herndon from Tortoise, who delivers an incredible drum performance throughout. Winter Is Here is another track that hits hard with Carolina's vintage-sounding soul that gives way to a falsetto harmony with Lauren Oden, and a beautiful sound that I thought might be the elusive phaser guitar, but it's not listed for this track. The sound is big, bright, dark, and psychedelic all at once. The track Psalm starts with the Lord's Prayer and some fuzz-faced bass, which makes for a nice counterpoint between prayer and an outright funk fest with Hammond organ swells, chirping synth, and a nice fat beat. The next track of mention is Adrian Younge's original Magic Music, which features old school R&B singer Raphael Saadiq and Sadia Yasmin, who is a regular on Adrian Younge's projects. This is a soul jam duet that has some microphone checks in the mix. La Ballade, another track by Sadier and Bilal, starts with a Serge Gainsbourg French spoken word intro that gives way to some doo-wop and then back into the French monologue. At this point you might be thinking to yourself, what the hell is going on here? Film noir, spaghetti western, hip-hop, soul, funk beats, baroque funk, and instrumentals all wrapped into one. And I have to hand it to Adrian Younge. The bar for artistic quality on this album has been set high, and it delivers on so many levels that transport the listener into another realm and time. The vintage aesthetic shines through, and a timeless album is born. Adrian Younge's Something About April 2, one of the best albums of 2016. This has been another new release review for Conscious Ground Sound. Subscribe here and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for updates and continued information on new releases, classic albums, and significant happenings in the music world.